Director Zephon's 6 eyes widened simultaneously as the impossible readings flashed across his neural interface. For 2 centuries, he had monitored the Crimson Void from the massive observation station called Silent Watch, and never once had anything survived entry into that cursed region of space. The void consumed everything that dared approach its boundaries. Starships, probes, even light itself bent and twisted until it screamed in frequencies that drove lesser species insane. The crystalline being's body trembled as he processed the data streaming from the deep space sensors. Something was moving inside the void, something that registered as artificial, technological, and most disturbing of all, alive. His mandibles clicked nervously as he activated the emergency communication array that connected Silent Watch to 17 different galactic civilizations. Chief Scanner Vex, report to the primary monitoring chamber immediately, Zephon commanded through the station's bio-neural network. Within moments, the insectoid Vex materialized through the transport beam, his compound eyes already analyzing the holographic displays that surrounded them like angry red storms. Vex's antennae twitched rapidly as he absorbed the sensor data. Director, these readings indicate a vessel approximately 300 meters in length, maintaining stable position 17,000 kilometers inside the void's primary destruction field. Energy signatures suggest carbon-based life forms aboard. That's impossible, Zephon whispered, his voice carrying harmonics of disbelief. The Crimson Void doesn't just destroy matter. It unravels the fundamental forces that hold reality together. Nothing can exist in there except pure chaos and screaming energy. The void had been discovered 50,000 years ago by the ancient Forerunners, a mysterious race that had vanished long before current civilizations reached the stars. Their warnings, carved into reality itself through quantum messaging, were clear. The Crimson Void was a place where the universe had been wounded, where the laws of physics went to die horrible deaths. Every species that had achieved spaceflight eventually found the void and learned to fear it. Vex manipulated his control interface with 4-fingered precision, calling up historical records. Director, in 50 millennia of observation, exactly 0 vessels have survived entry into the void. The longest any probe lasted was 0.3 seconds before complete molecular dissolution. Through the observation deck's reinforced barriers, Zephon could see the void itself, a writhing mass of crimson energy that hurt to perceive directly. It looked like a wound in space, bleeding impossible colors and geometries that violated every known principle of dimensional stability. Ships that approached too closely reported their instruments detecting negative mass, particles moving backward through time, and energy readings that suggested the local space was actively hostile to existence itself. Run a full spectral analysis, Zephon ordered, his voice tight with growing dread. I need to know what kind of technology could possibly survive in there. The results appeared on the holographic display within seconds, and both beings stared in stunned silence. The energy signature was unmistakably biological, but the technology was primitive by galactic standards. Chemical rockets, crude fusion reactors, basic electromagnetic sensors, the kind of systems that barely qualified for interplanetary travel, let alone surviving conditions that destroyed advanced civilizations. This makes no sense, Vex chittered, anxiously. According to our databases, this technology belongs to a species called humans from the outer spiral arm. They've barely achieved faster than light travel, and their weapons are still based on accelerating physical projectiles. Zephon's neural implants accessed the galactic database, pulling up everything known about humanity. The records were sparse. A young species, aggressive but not particularly advanced, notable mainly for their tendency to fight each other over resources and ideology. They had recently made contact with the galactic community, but were considered minor players in the cosmic arena. How did primitive humans accomplish what 50,000 years of advanced civilizations could not? Zephon demanded of the universe itself. The answer came in the form of an incoming transmission that pierced through the void's reality warping effects as if they didn't exist. The main display activated, showing the interior of what appeared to be a remarkably basic starship bridge. The commanding officer was a middle-aged human male with steel-gray hair and eyes that held an unsettling mixture of determination and something that looked suspiciously like amusement. This is Captain Marcus Webb of the human exploration vessel Iron Will, the man said, his voice carrying across impossible distances with crystal clarity. I assume we've got your attention now. We need to talk. Director Zephon's crystalline form pulsed with nervous energy as he stared at the human captain on the main display. Captain Webb appeared completely relaxed, as if sitting inside a reality-destroying anomaly was just another day at the office. Behind him, other humans moved about their primitive bridge with casual efficiency, apparently unaware that they were accomplishing the impossible. Captain Webb, Zephon began, struggling to keep his voice steady. You are currently positioned inside the most dangerous region of known space. The Crimson Void has destroyed every vessel that has ever attempted entry. How are you still alive? Webb leaned back in his command chair and smiled. Well, Director, that's because everyone else has been trying to fight the void. We decided to dance with it instead. He gestured to a young woman at the navigation console. Lieutenant Riley Chen figured out that the void isn't actually trying to destroy things. It's testing them. The human woman turned toward the screen, her dark eyes bright with excitement. The void operates on probability mathematics, she explained with the enthusiasm of someone discussing a favorite puzzle. Every time matter enters, it runs through billions of potential outcomes simultaneously. Most species build their ships to resist change, so the void keeps testing until it finds a probability where the ship fails. Chief Scanner Vex's antennae twitched frantically. That's theoretically impossible. The quantum uncertainty principles alone would require computing power equivalent to a stellar core. That's where human stubbornness comes in, Webb chuckled. We don't try to calculate the probabilities. We just decide which outcome we want and refuse to accept any other possibility. Riley calls it probability threading. Instead of fighting the chaos, we convince it to work with us. Zephon felt his internal temperature regulators struggling to maintain equilibrium. You're telling me that you survived the Crimson Void through sheer force of will? Not just will, interrupted a gruff voice from off-screen. Chief Engineer, Tommy Briggs stepped into view, wiping his hands on a grease-stained rag. We had to modify our entire ship. Turns out the void responds to emotional resonance. The more our crew believes we can make it through, the more reality bends to accommodate us. The implications hit Zephon like a plasma bolt. For 50,000 years, the galaxy's greatest minds had approached the void as a scientific problem, to be solved through advanced technology and mathematical precision. Humans had succeeded by treating it as a challenge to be overcome through determination and teamwork. This is impossible, Vex whispered, his compound eyes analyzing the data streams flowing from the human vessel. Your ship should have been unmade at the quantum level the moment you crossed the boundary. Webb's expression grew more serious. Chief, show them what we found in here. The display shifted to show the view outside the Iron Will, and both alien observers gasped. The chaotic crimson energies of the void were organizing themselves into geometric patterns around the human ship. Ancient structures, impossibly complex, and clearly artificial, were materializing from the quantum foam as if the void itself was revealing hidden architecture. The Crimson Void isn't a natural phenomenon, Lieutenant Chen explained, her voice filled with wonder. It's a massive testing facility left behind by the Forerunners. They were waiting for a species that could navigate chaos through pure determination rather than technological superiority. Zephon's neural implants were overloading as he processed this revelation. You mean to tell me that humanity has unlocked secrets that have been hidden for 50 millennia? Not just unlocked, Webb replied, his smile returning. We've been invited in. The void is showing us things that make our fastest computers look like counting beads. But here's the interesting part. It's not just sharing technology. It's sharing knowledge about something the Forerunners called the Great Filter. The massive structures around the Iron Will continued to emerge from the quantum chaos, their surfaces covered in symbols that seemed to shift and change as they were observed. Zephon realized that he was witnessing the most significant discovery in galactic history, and it had been made by the species everyone considered barely worthy of attention. Captain Webb, Zephon said slowly, I need to inform the Galactic Council immediately. This changes everything we thought we knew about the universe. Webb's expression darkened slightly. Director, I'd suggest you hurry. Our sensors are detecting multiple fleet movements throughout this sector. It seems word is already spreading and not everyone is going to be happy about humans gaining access to Forerunner secrets. The ancient structures surrounding the Iron Will pulsed with increasing intensity as more of the Forerunner installation revealed itself. What had once appeared to be chaotic, crimson energy now showed its true nature, a massive archaeological site preserved in quantum suspension for 50,000 years, waiting for the right species to unlock its secrets. Dr. James Hartwell, the Iron Will's chief xenoarchaeologist, could barely contain his excitement as he studied the readings flooding their primitive sensors. His weathered hands shook as he manipulated the holographic displays showing the emerging Forerunner architecture. Captain, these structures are responding to our presence. Every time one of our crew members approaches a new section, it activates and begins transmitting data. On silent watch, Director Zephon watched in growing amazement as the human vessel moved through the installation like a key fitting perfectly into an ancient lock. Each section the humans explored came alive with purpose, revealing corridors, chambers, and mechanisms that defied comprehension, even by galactic standards. This is unprecedented, Chief Scanner Vex reported, his voice tight with disbelief. The installation is selectively revealing itself based on the humans' emotional and psychological responses. When their curiosity peaks, new areas activate. When they show determination, defensive systems stand down. Captain Webb's voice crackled through the communication link. Director, Dr. Hartwell has discovered something you need to hear. It's about why the Forerunners built this place. The display shifted to show the human archaeologist standing before a massive crystalline structure, covered in shifting symbols. Hartwell's eyes were wide with the weight of discovery as he began to explain what they had learned. The Forerunners weren't just an advanced civilization, Hartwell said, his voice carrying the reverence of someone who had touched the face of cosmic truth. They were shepherds, guiding the galaxy's development for millions of years. But they discovered something that terrified them, a pattern they called the Great Filter. Zephon's neural implants struggled to process the implications. What kind of pattern? Every civilization in the galaxy follows the same path, Hartwell continued, gesturing to holographic displays showing the rise and fall of countless species. They develop technology, achieve spaceflight, then discover the Crimson Void. Most ignore it or try to study it from a safe distance, but eventually they all make the same mistake. They try to conquer it through superior technology and logic. The human scientist's expression grew grave. The void isn't just a test, Director, it's a filter. Species that approach cosmic mysteries through pure technological advancement hit a wall they can't overcome. They become so dependent on their tools that they lose the ability to adapt, to dream, to push beyond the impossible through sheer force of will. Vex's compound eyes focused intently on the data streams. You're suggesting that technological superiority is actually an evolutionary dead end? Not just suggesting, Webb interjected from his command chair. The Forerunners left, detailed records. Thousands of species reached the same level of advancement as the current galactic powers, then stagnated. They became so focused on perfecting what they already knew that they stopped pushing into the unknown. The implications hit Zephon like a nova blast. Every major galactic civilization had indeed reached a plateau. Their technology was incredibly advanced, but they hadn't made truly revolutionary breakthroughs in millennia. They maintained, refined, and optimized, but rarely innovated in ways that fundamentally changed their understanding of reality. Dr. Hartwell activated another section of the Forerunner installation, and new chambers materialized around them. The Forerunners realized they were approaching the same stagnation point, so they created the Crimson Void as a test, not of technology, but of the willingness to embrace impossibility. They were looking for a species that would try to dance with chaos instead of dominating it. And humanity passed this test, Zephon said slowly, beginning to understand the magnitude of what was happening. We're still passing it, Lieutenant Chen added from the navigation console. Every moment we stay in here, the installation shows us new things. but only because we keep asking what if instead of how can we control this. Through silent Watch's observation deck, Zephon could see the crimson void transforming. The chaotic energies were organizing into stable patterns that extended far beyond the installation itself. Reality was literally rewriting itself around the human presence, creating new possibilities where none had existed before. Chief Engineer Briggs appeared on the display, his grease-stained hands now working with Forerunner technology that responded to his touch like it had been waiting for him specifically. Director, you need to know something else. This installation isn't just a test, it's a gateway. The Forerunners didn't disappear from this galaxy. They transcended it, and they left instructions for anyone brave enough to follow. Zephon felt his crystalline structure vibrating at frequencies that indicated extreme stress. Are you saying the humans have found a path to join the Forerunners? Webb's expression was serious but determined. We found a path to whatever comes next, but according to these records, it's not a journey any species can make alone. The Great Filter isn't just about individual advancement. It's about learning to work together with other species in ways that transcend the limitations of any single approach to reality. The massive Forerunner installation continued to expand around them, revealing technologies and knowledge that could reshape the galaxy. But Zephron realized that humanity's greatest discovery wasn't the ancient secrets they had unlocked. It was proof that impossible things became possible when approached with the right combination of determination, curiosity, and the refusal to accept that anything was truly beyond reach. The emergency session of the Galactic Council convened within hours of Director Zephon's report, but by then it was already too late to contain the situation. Admiral Catherine Stone of the Human Colonial Defense Force watched the holographic displays aboard her flagship Defiance as 3 separate alien armadas converged on the Crimson Void, each representing a different galactic superpower with their own agenda. Ma'am, we're detecting the Nexus Coalition battle fleet dropping out of hyperspace on our starboard flank, reported Commander David Park from the tactical station. 47 capital ships, including their flagship Eternal Dominion. They're not responding to our communication attempts. Stone nodded grimly as she studied the tactical situation. The Nexus Coalition represented the galaxy's oldest and most technologically advanced civilizations, species that had ruled space for millennia and weren't about to let upstart humans claim access to Forerunner secrets without a fight. Their crystalline ships gleamed with weapons that could crack planets and defensive shields that had never been penetrated. And the Stellar Republic? Stone asked, though she already knew the answer from the sensor readings scrolling across her command display. 31 vessels holding position at the system's edge, Park replied. They're maintaining standard diplomatic formation, but their weapon systems are fully charged. Ambassador Thixis is requesting immediate negotiations. The Stellar Republic took a more measured approach than the Coalition, but Stone knew their patience had limits. They represented the galaxy's most successful trading civilizations, and the potential economic disruption of humanity gaining Forerunner technology would threaten their carefully maintained commercial empire. Most concerning of all were the ships that hadn't officially arrived yet, but were definitely present. The Void Hunters, a mysterious faction that appeared wherever ancient technology was discovered. Their vessels used stealth systems so advanced that they registered as little more than gravitational shadows on human sensors. Captain Webb, this is Admiral Stone, she transmitted to the iron will inside the Crimson Void. We have a situation developing out here. Multiple alien fleets have arrived and they don't look like they're here for a friendly chat. Webb's response came through clearly, despite the reality-warping effects of the void. Admiral, Dr. Hartwell says the Forerunner installation is monitoring everything happening outside. It's concerned about the galactic response. The ancient systems are designed to protect their secrets from species that might misuse them. Stone felt a chill run down her spine. What kind of protection are we talking about, Captain? The kind that could make the Crimson Void look like a gentle summer breeze, Webb replied. The Forerunners built safeguards into this place. If they determine that revealing their knowledge would destabilize the galaxy, they can seal everything away for another 50,000 years. On the bridge of the Eternal Dominion, Supreme Commander Vextai of the Nexus Coalition studied the primitive human vessels with barely concealed contempt. His species had mastered faster than light travel when humanity was still discovering fire, and the idea that these crude mammals had unlocked secrets that eluded his people for millennia was personally insulting. Tactical analysis, he commanded in the harmonic frequencies that served as his people's language. The human vessels are technologically inferior in every measurable category, his tactical officer reported. Their weapons are kinetic projectiles. Their shields are electromagnetic barriers, and their hull composition is metallic alloy. We could destroy their entire fleet in less than 30 seconds. Vexitai's crystalline features shifted into what might have been a smile. Then why haven't we? The question hung in the air as his tactical officer struggled with the obvious answer. Despite their technological inferiority, the humans had accomplished something that the combined might of the galactic civilizations had failed to achieve. They had not only survived the Crimson Void, but were apparently having a conversation with Forerunner technology that had been silent for 50 millennia. Admiral Stone opened a communication channel to all assembled fleets, her voice carrying the weight of humanity's newfound position in galactic politics. This is Admiral Catherine Stone of the Human Colonial Defense Force. I'm transmitting Captain Webb's initial findings about the Forerunner installation to all vessels in the system. The data package that followed contained revelations that shook the foundations of galactic civilization. The Forerunners hadn't disappeared. They had evolved beyond physical existence after recognizing that technological advancement without spiritual growth led to evolutionary dead ends. The Great Filter wasn't just a theory but a proven pattern that had claimed thousands of species across cosmic history. The installation responds to cooperation and curiosity, Stone continued, not conquest and control. The Forerunners designed it to remain hidden from any species that would try to monopolize its secrets or use them as weapons of dominance. Supreme Commander Vextai's response was swift and aggressive. Human Admiral, you will withdraw your vessels immediately and submit to coalition oversight of this discovery. The secrets of the ancients belong to all civilized species, not primitive newcomers who stumbled upon them by accident. With respect, Commander, Stone replied, her voice remaining steady despite the odds she faced. The Forerunners, apparently, disagree. According to Captain Webb's reports, the installation has been monitoring galactic development for 50,000 years. It chose to reveal itself to humanity specifically because we approached it differently than everyone else. Inside the Crimson Void, Dr. Hartwell was discovering just how closely the Forerunner systems were watching the unfolding confrontation. Ancient sensors that operated on principles beyond current understanding were analyzing every ship, every weapon, every communication that passed between the assembled fleets. Captain, Hartwell called out, his voice tight with urgency. The installation is running probability calculations on the current situation. If the alien fleets attack, the Forerunner systems will interpret it as proof that galactic civilization isn't ready for their knowledge. Webb felt the weight of cosmic responsibility settling on his shoulders. Humanity had opened a door that had been closed for 50 millennia, but keeping it open might require making choices that would define their species' role in the galaxy for generations to come. The moment of truth arrived when Supreme Commander Vextai ordered his fleet to advance. 47 coalition warships moved toward the human positions with weapons charging, their crystalline hulls gleaming with the promise of overwhelming force. Admiral Stone watched from the bridge of the Defiance as her small fleet of 12 vessels prepared to face impossible odds. All human vessels, this is Admiral Stone, she transmitted on an open channel that every ship in the system could monitor. Hold position and do not power weapons. We're going to show them what humans do when faced with the impossible. Inside the Crimson Void, Captain Webb felt the Forerunner installation responding to the crisis outside. Ancient systems that had remained dormant for millennia were awakening, their attention focused on the confrontation that would determine the fate of galactic civilization. Dr. Hartwell's readings showed probability calculations running at speeds that made human computers look like counting stones. Captain, Chief Engineer Briggs called from his station, where he was now interfacing directly with Forerunner technology. The installation is offering us something. It can give us weapons that would make those coalition ships look like toys, defensive systems that could protect Earth itself from any threat in the galaxy. Webb stared at the offer displayed on screens that showed potential futures where humanity ruled the stars through superior firepower. It would be easy. Accept the Forerunner weapons, defeat the alien fleets, and claim dominance over the galaxy through the same approach that every other species had tried and failed with. No, Webb said quietly, his voice carrying absolute certainty. That's exactly what the Great Filter is designed to catch. The moment we choose power over cooperation, we become just another species that couldn't transcend their limitations. Lieutenant Chen looked up from her navigation console, her eyes bright with understanding. The installation isn't just testing whether we can survive the void, Captain. It's testing whether we can resist the temptation to use Forerunner knowledge for conquest. Outside the void, the Coalition fleet continued its advance while Admiral Stone opened a communication channel to all assembled vessels. Her voice carried calm determination as she addressed the most powerful military forces in the galaxy. Supreme Commander Vexatai, Ambassador Thixus, and representatives of all fleets present, Stone began. I want to share something that Captain Webb discovered about the Forerunner installation. It's been watching all of us, analyzing our responses to this situation. Every decision we make here is being evaluated against 50,000 years of galactic history. Vextai's response crackled with impatience. Human Admiral, your delays will not save you. Stand down immediately or face the consequences. The consequences aren't what you think, Stone replied, her voice growing stronger. The installation has shown us records of species just like the Coalition, technologically advanced, militarily powerful, absolutely certain of their superiority. They all made the same choice you're making right now, and they all hit the same wall that stopped their development dead. Dr. Hartwell's voice joined the conversation from inside the void, his words carrying the weight of cosmic revelation. The Forerunners discovered that every species faces this moment, the choice between using knowledge to dominate others or using it to transcend their own limitations. Those who choose domination become trapped in cycles of conflict and stagnation. Those who choose transcendence join something greater. The Coalition fleet paused in its advance as Vextai processed this information. His tactical officers were reporting impossible readings from the Crimson Void, energy signatures that suggested the installation was fully awakening for the first time in 50 millennia. You claim the ancients transcended physical existence? Vextai transmitted, suspicion clear in his harmonic tones. Prove it. Captain Webb's response came directly from the heart of the Forerunner installation, his image appearing simultaneously on every ship in the system. Behind him, the ancient technology was revealing its true nature. Not weapons or tools of conquest, but instruments of understanding that operated on principles beyond current galactic comprehension. The proof isn't what the Forerunners left behind, Webb said, his voice carrying absolute conviction. The proof is what humanity is offering right now. We could use this knowledge to claim dominance over the galaxy, but instead we're inviting everyone to join us in learning what comes next. Chief Engineer Briggs appeared beside Webb, his hands now glowing with energy patterns that showed his integration with Forerunner systems. The installation has been waiting for a species that would choose partnership over conquest. It doesn't want to give its secrets to any one civilization. It wants to guide all of galactic civilization toward the next level of existence. The moment of decision crystallized as Admiral Stone made humanity's choice for the galaxy to witness. All human vessels are standing down weapons and opening their databases to share every piece of information we've discovered about the Forerunner installation. We're transmitting our complete findings to every ship in this system because the knowledge belongs to everyone. Supreme Commander Vextai's crystalline features shifted as he realized what the humans were doing. Instead of using their advantage to claim power, they were giving it away freely. It was an approach so fundamentally different from standard galactic politics that his tactical computers couldn't calculate an appropriate response. Inside the Crimson Void, the Forerunner installation responded to humanity's choice with a transformation that lit up sensor arrays across 3 star systems. The ancient structure expanded beyond the boundaries of the void itself, creating stable corridors through space-time that connected to similar installations throughout the galaxy.